Hello, my name is Becky Hynek. I've been a member of First Church since 2016. A couple of weeks ago, when Hannah had her sign-up schedule out on the table for Lenten Devotionals, I took a look at the paper, and the very first caption I read was "Take." I read the little description, and I thought to myself, oh, I have a story for that section of Lenten Devotionals. Actually, this is not my story, it's my son Johnny's story. Johnny attended church back in 2016, 2017 time frame. Many of you might remember him. In fact, he sang in the choir for a year or two. Well, in 2023, January of 2023, Johnny moved to Washington, D.C. He took a job as a travel nurse at one of the hospitals there. He was at the beginning of a new relationship, moving to a new city. All exciting stuff for somebody of Johnny's age and situation in life. Well, he was in Washington, D.C. for about a week, and his car was stolen. Not a good way to start a new job, a new relationship, or a new city. What happened after that original event really kind of shook Johnny, and as each of these events happened, he would call me and tell me what was happening, and obviously as a parent you get upset when bad things start happening to your children. So Johnny's first order of business after he determined the car had been stolen was to go to the police and report it. And there ensued just a frustrating experience of getting to a police station that was open, having the right people at the police station to take his report, getting follow-up information from the police. You'd think it was a bother for them to track down a stolen car rather than to help somebody who's in that situation. But you need a police report in order to go to your insurance company and let them know that your car has been stolen and they need to open a claim for your stolen car. That was number two of the frustrating situations where even once he had a claims adjuster assigned to his case, he was getting a lot of feedback to them that he had missed deadlines for reporting things, that he wasn't replying to emails or to voicemails, when all along he was, and they weren't. And luckily he had evidence on his cell phone of emails sent or voicemails left, calls made, that showed he was meeting the deadlines of the insurance company. Well, about a week or two after the original incident, Johnny got a call at about 2 o'clock in the morning from the police saying his car had been found. Unfortunately, his car was found because it had been in an accident and had to be towed. There goes number 3, dealing with the towing company. Towing companies don't always tell you where they've towed your car, and they also have deadlines as to when you have to get your car out of their tow lot, or if you miss that deadline, you're going to be fined for some exorbitant amount per day that your car remains in their lot. So Johnny finally got in touch with the towing company and told them to tow his car to the nearest Hyundai dealership. I didn't mention at the beginning that his car was a Hyundai, and I think about around this time, there were lots of YouTube videos that told you exactly how to steal a Hyundai, because there seemed to be just many reports of Hyundais being stolen. So next step, Johnny makes his way to the Hyundai dealership to see what the status of his car is, what it looks like. He gets to the Hyundai dealership, and they tell him the car isn't there. And he's like, what? My car was towed here. It's got to be here. Well, finally, A nice employee at the Hyundai dealership said, "Come on, we're going to walk through the lot and see if we can find your car." Sure enough, his car was there. I forget exactly what Johnny said to me. He said, "The car is crushed." Now, this was a Hyundai Elantra. It's not that big of a car to begin with. Johnny sent me pictures, and I didn't think it looked crushed, but I was envisioning like accordion crushed, and it didn't look quite like that. But at least they know where the car was. They could send the insurance adjuster there to make their determination on the status of the car. As luck would have it, the insurance company totaled the car, and Johnny actually got a pretty good amount of money from the insurance company, more than any of us ever thought he would get. He didn't buy a new car. He still hasn't bought a new car because he discovered that in Washington, D.C., depending on where you live and where you work, you really don't need a car. And why buy a car and maybe go through this experience all over again? The final insult to this whole situation was about 2 months later, 2 months after the event, Johnny got some mail at his apartment here in Pittsburgh that he had a speeding ticket. It was one of those overhead, air-enforced speeding tickets. And not only did he have a speeding ticket, but he had a fine because he didn't pay the speeding ticket within the required period of time. Well, luckily, the speeding event happened after the car had been stolen, while it was in possession of somebody else. So he was able to have the speeding ticket waived, but just sort of one more unfortunate event to have to deal with. Now, after today's sermon, I feel like you're expecting me to tell you that we should forgive our enemies and turn the other cheek. And Johnny doesn't bear any ill will to the person who stole his car, and I don't either. In fact, I hope that they weren't injured in the accident that they were in with the car. But that whole thing is about, loving your enemy and turning the other cheek. It's a tough one in a lot of situations. It's a really tough one. The message I guess I do want to say through this whole incident is that people, through no fault of their own, are victims. And I think that we should try to, when we're in a position to help a victim, make sure that victim doesn't get further victimized. Somehow we help them and maybe smooth their path a little bit. That's the help I want to provide to people who are in this situation where something is taken. Thank you.